In the early spring of 1803, as fog rolled in from the Pacific and cloaked Japan's eastern coastline, a group of fishermen made a discovery that would haunt the pages of history for over 2 centuries. Drifting just beyond the shore was a vessel unlike anything they had ever seen before. It wasn't a ship, not in the way they understood ships. It was round, perfectly circular, and partially metallic. Its dark, polished surface shimmered beneath the morning sun, and its upper body was crafted from what appeared to be lacquered wood. Strange, glass-like panels were fitted into its walls, forming windows arranged in a precise ring. It looked like it had been built with knowledge beyond what the villagers possessed. Not a fishing boat, not a trade ship, something else. They brought the vessel ashore, curious and cautious. What they found inside would spark one of Japan's greatest historical mysteries. Seated inside the circular craft was a young woman no more than 5 feet tall. Her skin was unnaturally pale, almost luminous. Her hair, bright red, flowing and fiery, was like nothing anyone in the village had ever seen. She wore unfamiliar clothing and held tightly to a box, roughly 2 feet long, carved from an unknown wood. Didn't speak Japanese. She didn't respond in Dutch or Portuguese, the only 2 foreign languages Japanese ports sometimes encountered. Her speech was unintelligible, a fluid, melodic tongue that echoed no known dialect. And she wouldn't let go of that box, not for anything. Inside the vessel, the fishermen found containers of water and food. Dried provisions, enough to suggest she had been in the craft for a while, possibly even days. But it was the symbols carved into the wood lining the walls that unnerved them most. Etched characters unlike any writing system known in the region. Curved, flowing, interlocked, somewhere between calligraphy and code. The villagers, deeply spiritual and bound to tradition, were torn. Was this woman a sign from the gods, a demon, a lost soul, or something else entirely? In 1803, Japan was under the rule of the Tokugawa shogunate and locked behind a wall of self-imposed isolation. The Sakoku policy had been in effect for nearly 200 years. Foreigners were strictly banned. Interaction with outsiders, even accidental ones, could bring death. Villages could be punished for harboring strangers. The entire coast lived in fear of violating this national edict. So the villagers did what most would do under such pressure. They summoned the elders. An old man, the wisest among them, claimed to remember a legend. A story of a noblewoman exiled to sea after refusing to marry the man chosen for her. According to the tale, she had fallen in love with a man below her status. When her lover was executed, she was cast out in a sealed boat with only a wooden box in her arms. A box that, the story claimed, held the severed head of the man she loved. The comparison was eerie, too close to ignore. The villagers didn't know what to do. They debated through the day, whispering behind closed doors. Some argued that helping her was the right thing to do. Others feared retribution from the shogunate. In the end, mercy and fear became one. That evening, the villagers carried the woman, still silent, still clutching her box, back into the vessel. They pushed the boat into the sea and watched as the current pulled her away. She didn't look back, she didn't resist, and she was never seen again. But the story did not die with the tide. What sets the Utsuro Bune, which means hollow ship, apart from other folklore is that it was documented, written, preserved. Multiple texts from the Edo period recorded the event in detail, among them, Toen Shosetsu. Toen Shosetsu from the year 1825 is a collection of curious stories. Next up, Ume no Chiri. No Chiri, an anthology of strange phenomena. Scene 6, Other Compilations. And other historical compilations from the Oshu region. Scene 7, Consistent Details. Each manuscript described the same key features: a round, unfamiliar craft made of metal and wood, transparent panels, a red-haired foreign woman, a mysterious box, and an unintelligible language. Some of the manuscripts even included illustrations of the vessel, perfectly circular, smooth and windowed, drawings that, to modern eyes, resemble what we now call a flying saucer. But this was long before the idea of UFOs, long before Roswell, long before science fiction entered the global psyche. So what was it? Some scholars believe the event was real but earthly in nature. One theory suggests that the woman was Russian. Red hair is more common in Northern Europe and Russia than in Japan. And in the late 1700s and early 1800s, Russia was expanding eastward. A Japanese castaway named Duyo Kaiyu who had lived in Russia for a decade, later described women with pale skin, red hair, and unusual clothing, wearing heavy fur-lined coats. He even noted a style of handwritten symbols used in Russian correspondence, rounded, cursive, and unlike anything in Asia. It was eerily similar to the markings found inside the Utsuro Bune. Could she have been a Russian noble in exile, a political prisoner? It's possible, and yet, the craft itself seemed too advanced, too alien. Others point to ancient Chinese legend. One story, dating back to the 7th century, tells of a 13-year-old Chinese princess who fled her stepmother and escaped across the ocean in a sealed vessel. She landed in what is now Shikoku, Japan, and eventually gave birth to the founder of the Kono clan, a real noble family. Some records include drawings of her craft round, enclosed, foreign in design. The parallels are striking. Could the Utsuro Bune be a retelling of an older myth? Or proof that such voyages really occurred? And then there's the third theory, the one that seems least likely, but refuses to go away, the extraterrestrial theory. UFO enthusiasts have long pointed out that the shape of the vessel, its metallic base, its glass windows, and the symbols inside, all suggest technology far beyond that of 19th century Earth. The absence of a rudder, sails, or propulsion system only adds to the mystery. Some believe the woman may not have been from this world, or at the very least not from any known civilization of the time. Was the Utsuro Bune a crashed alien craft? A probe? Was the woman inside it a human hybrid, part of a greater experiment or contact mission? The box she clutched, was it a device, a translator, a weapon, or just what the legend said, a final piece of someone she loved? More than 220 years have passed since the Utsuro Bune appeared and vanished. It has been studied by linguists, historians, ufologists, folklorists, and even engineers. No consensus has ever been reached. What is undeniable is this: the event was recorded in real Japanese historical documents, it was described with unusual precision, and the drawings of the vessel exist. Whether the story is fact, fiction, or a distorted blend of both, it continues to fascinate. Because the best mysteries do not answer every question, they awaken more. So who was she? A refugee from another nation? A royal castaway? A myth come to life? A visitor from beyond the stars? Or something we're simply not ready to understand? This is the story of the Utsuro Bune, not folklore, not fantasy, but a real unsolved moment in history, when something impossible washed ashore and changed everything.